Nate, you guys did a really good job, obviously, crowding Kyrie and to an extent Al as well. How difficult is it when there are three guys come off the bench and start, hitting shots?
Well, they're a deep team, and they showed tonight. Irvin is not the only player. Only player on that roster. He does a lot of things for them, and they have solid players both in that first unit and their second unit. And those guys tonight, they stepped up. I felt like they've stepped up throughout this series. Morris had a big game, the first game. Each night has been someone different, coming off the bench or, playing in that first unit. And Irvin does what he does, which is create for those guys. He's very capable of dominating a game one-on-one. When you're sending double teams, he's getting the ball out of his hands and trusting his teammates, and those guys are knocking down shots. So it's a huge challenge to try to cover them when, they're playing so well.
John Corrales, MassLive.com. Terry Rozier was pretty good defensively off the bench. What did you see from him in that regard?
He's a solid backup guard. I mean, he had the experience, got the experience last season playing in the playoffs when they had injuries. Irvin is healthy now, and he's a guard that can come in and defend at an elite level. He allows Irving to, play that off guard, and, that poses a challenge because now you're moving Irving off the ball and moving him around, and Rozier is a guy who's capable of initiating the offense as well as, setting the tone defensively in that second unit. So solid guard and, tough-minded, really I like the way he plays.
Coach Kyle Grand, Pacers.com. Can you just comment? I know it stings now, but can you just comment on how your team played this season and just overall what it means for these guys to play hard without their best player all year?
Our guys, the one thing I just told them, thank you for the effort, because all season long and really since we got this group together last season, effort has not been a problem for us, regardless of who is in uniform. What injuries may occur. Our guys, they come out and give us everything they have every single day. I've never had to question this team on their effort, and if there's one thing that I think a coach wants is that his players show up every day to play. Our guys 1 through 15 did that. The guys that didn't get minutes and was on the inactive list, they kept themselves ready. We had a number of injuries this season where we had to have guys step in and play, and we was able to keep our head above water and, finish fifth in the East. But, I'm just appreciative of, the effort that they gave us every single day. And, tonight, we talked about leaving everything we had on the floor. I thought they did. We just went up against a team that was better.
Coach, to your left, Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. I'm just curious, from an opposition's perspective, how have you seen the Celtics change to what you just saw over 4 games now in a playoff series versus maybe what you saw back in the early days when you faced them the first couple times this year?
Well, we don't listen to all the conversation during the season about, things that go on with teams and what is happening in their locker room. We knew that this team, any of the teams that we faced going into the playoffs, whether it would have been Toronto or Philadelphia, Boston, all of those teams, Milwaukee, all of those teams were going to be tough. A lot of people were, downplaying Boston as a team that would probably struggle going into the playoffs because of a lot of the stuff that happened during the season. That team was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. We know that they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of depth. We knew that they would get it right come playoff time. and that rhythm. Brad has done a good job of holding that team together, and now that they are in the playoffs, they're playing good basketball. Unfortunate to lose Smart during the start of these playoffs, but that's a team with a lot of depth. Irvin is one of the top players in the league, and Tatum and Hayward and Marsh and Horford and Rozier, all of those guys are solid players that playing good basketball. And the next opponent, they're going to see a good team.
Coach Tom Lewis, SB Nation. Aside from adding Victor, what did you learn from your team at the end of the season in the playoffs that should help direct the team in the offseason, get ready for next year?
Well, it's I'm looking at my team, and we got 7, 8 free agents on our roster, and we very well could look different next season. I just appreciate what our guys did for me and this coaching staff, this season, and the effort that they gave. So, what can we learn? I first need to figure out what my roster will look like next season, and we got some key guys in our starting unit as well as our second unit that are free agents, and now the work turns towards signing our guys and building this roster over again.